Imagine this, you're at home in your home recording studio, recording one of your songs and it's sounding great. The vocals are on point because you practiced and did a great job, and the acoustic guitar sounds amazing, no mistakes. Pretty much the song is done at this point. The only thing that's missing is that your song sounds nothing like what you hear on the radio from your favorite artists. Their vocals are crispy and in your face, but your vocals are awkward and get in the way of the song somehow. I felt that way when I've recorded my music, so that's why we're gonna jump right into that moment of the recording process, and we're gonna focus on mixing vocals. Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Ryan from Lion Bold Records. Thanks for watching this video today. Also, thank you just for everyone following the record label. The record label's doing great. We just received all of your music submissions, so thank you for sending those in. We're going to be going through those as a team and, of course, selecting our favorite artists to sign on the label. So thanks again for your support and for being involved in that music submission process. As I just said, we're going to look at mixing vocals and making them sound super professional and polished. The vocals are all comped together. As you can see, I did a few takes right here. So I've comped all the different takes and chose the best parts that I like. Down here we have acoustic guitar. So this is just a vocal acoustic guitar arrangement. Super good example to clearly just hear the vocals and know exactly what we're doing. There's not going to be drums or anything getting in the way. And so for the first thing I'm going to do, as you can see over here, I have all of the plugins bypassed in Pro Tools, and I'm just going to play probably the first third of the song so you could hear the raw tracks and get a reference point. This is a song that I recorded here in my home studio called Carry On, and I'm going to play that for you right now.
Would you trade a simple rhyme and lend a moment of your time to help with all my messes? I've got a few questions. Was that cross weighing too much? Did your friends grow out of touch? Now I think I can relate. I'm suffocating from the weight, and I don't want to lose myself. I don't want to give up hope. Will my arms be strong enough? Will my legs hold me up? And I don't want to listen, but a voice is telling me to run. I need somewhere to belong till my feet can carry on.
All right, there you have it. So just voice and acoustic guitar, it's a super vulnerable arrangement, right? And you can't hide behind anything. That's why it's so important for everything to sound really great. So I'm not going to spend too much time on acoustic guitar, but since acoustic guitar is half of this song, I'm just going to pull up the plugin right here. So I've bypassed the only plugin that I have on the acoustic, which is an EQ. So I'm going to bring this back. All I did was kind of just emphasize a little bit of the low end because there is no bass instrument. It is just kind of the baritone voice of the guitar. And this song is tuned a half step down into E flat. So I'm really trying to go for that low guitar sound, and so I emphasize that a little bit right here. Scoop out a little bit of the mud around 200 hertz, and then I scoop out a little bit of 1K to give it a big scooped, wide, big sound. And also to make a little room for the vocals in the mix, because the vocals are going to take up a lot of that 1K range. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Just a little background. I did record a little bit of compression on the way into Pro Tools. So I have a hardware compressor in the studio. I use the one LA, which is an LA2A copy. And so I did use that when recording all these tracks. So just a little bit of compression squeeze on the way in. So that might be a big reason why I didn't do any further compression. A great one that would match my sound would be to bring in this VC2A compressor, which is an emulation of the same exact compressor that I used at home. And so just a little bit of peak reduction, a little gain to compensate for that would be all you need on this song, because I'm just trying to keep the acoustic guitar as natural as possible. Let's move ahead to the lead vocals. And the first thing that I do whenever I deal with vocals in a song is I like to do a little pitch correction. Especially for this track, I recorded these vocals when I had a cold. I was under a huge deadline because I wanted to release this song by Easter. It was like a week before Easter and I needed to send it to distribution, and I was totally rushing this. So I put a little bit of auto-tune on it, and the settings are pretty conservative. I only have this halfway up, and the retune speed is a little more than halfway. So if I turn this all the way to the max, I would get T-Pain. So I have a pretty middle setting right here on the vocals. And so I'm going to just kind of play a little bit, and you'll hear that it really tightens up the tuning.
Would you trade a simple rhyme and lend a moment of your time to help with all my messes? I've got a few questions. Was that cross weighing too much? Did your friends grow out of touch? Now I think I can relate. I'm suffocating from the weight, and I don't want to lose myself.
So you can see right here in this area of the plugin window, you could see it tuning back and forth, really locking it in, and that makes it right away sound like I spent twice as much time recording. I just didn't have the time for this song. So if you don't have auto-tune, that's okay, because all that means is just you need to do a few more takes to really lock in that tuning. But for someone like me, or maybe you find yourself in this situation where you have a deadline that you set and the recording always goes behind schedule, and so auto-tune really helps in that area. So just to reiterate, I did record with a little bit of compression on the way in, so that kind of helps with all the peaks. As you can see, most of it is pretty level, but sometimes there are some peaks that still made it through, like right here on this word, and especially right here on this word, whatever those are. And so I still throw in a little bit extra compression right here. I have another LA2A plugin. It's my favorite type of compressor, so I throw it on all my vocals. Usually it's that and not anything else. And so I'll bypass this and play a little bit of the track, and then you can hear what it does when it kicks in.
Out of touch, now I think I can relate. I'm suffocating from the weight, and I don't want to lose myself. I don't want to give up hope.
It really puts it up front.
Will my arms be strong enough? Will my legs hold me up?
So this compressor is super gentle. It doesn't really slam hard on the vocals. The type of compression is called opto compression, and it's very smooth. And so I can get a pretty good gain reduction. They call it peak reduction here, right into the -5, -7 dB of reduction, and it still sounds super natural. There's no pumping. It doesn't smack so hard where you notice the compression, and so that's why I really love this LA2A style plugin. The next thing that I did is a little bit of EQ, and this EQ is super straightforward. There's like really nothing special that I did here. All I did is that I took out the low end with a low cut filter, and what that does, it takes out any rumble in the room. If my breath got on the microphone and it picked that up and there's like that low sub rumble, that takes care of it. This low cut here, it just cuts it right out. Then I cleaned up some of the mud over here, right around 300 hertz, looks like 366. And then instead of boosting the top end like a lot of people tend to do, I just took out a little bit of this mid-range here to bring out some of the presence up around 10K hertz. And so I will start with this bypassed and you can hear the difference.
Lonely soul, wandering this lonely road of questions without answers, but I'm not taking chances. Let me know if there's a way to circumvent all of this pain. Tell me, Lord, what did you think when you were hanging on that tree? And I don't want to lose myself, I don't want to give up hope.
The biggest difference is really in this 1K range, and so let me go back and play this.
But I'm not taking chances.
This range right
Let me
here
know if there's a
is the biggest change right there, because it was a little bit too much without the EQ, and so taking that out, of course, cleaning up a little bit of the mud. I always like to do that to make it a little clearer. So that was just the beginning, though. I did a little bit of gentle EQ, a little bit of gentle compression, but you might have noticed all these plugins down here that I prepared ahead of time, and this is really where the mix starts to form. Yes, EQ and compression is important. That helps make your individual tracks sound great, but when mixing, it's really all about the reverb and the delay that you put on your tracks to really bring it all together. Especially in this mix where there's just two instruments, the effects are almost like a third instrument that you need to mix in as well.